In this video, I'm going to show you the next weed control for lawns that I'm going to use. And I have made a video that you might have seen which uses the 2,4-D. 2,4-D works fine with most of the weeds, but I still have some wild violets, and you might see those like these, where the 2,4-D is not doing enough to kill those wild violets. So what I'm going to do is, the next one I'm going to use is a mixture of 2,4-D and Triclopyr. So that is, here you can see it has 34% of 2,4-D and 16.5% of Triclopyr. So this is one that you can see the links below that I bought from Amazon, and it's a fairly decent price. I don't go for high priced chemicals either way. So this 32 ounces or 1 quart was around $24, $22 plus taxes. And what it does is, you should read the label that comes with it. And this is from Southern AG is the company that makes it. And the good thing is, it provides you an estimate of how much you need. And on this page you can see all the weeds that you can kill with this the combination of 2,4-D and Triclopyr. And this one has a measurement of, say, 1 quart per acre to up to 4 quarts per acre. And for example, if you have certain like chickweeds, you should go for 2 to 4 quarts per acre, or 1 to 1.5% mixture. In my case, I have some weeds which like the clover. Clover was fine with 2,4-D, but I didn't have good result with the with the wild violet. So I'm going to try this one, and I heard this is a good one for the wild violet. So if you are not familiar with these weed controls for your lawn, these will not kill your lawn. So these are selective weed killers which will kill dicotyledons, which means any weed leaves, and whereas the grass is a monocotyledon. So when it comes out of the seeds, there is only one cotyledon in there, and these are not going to kill your grass. So you should be fine using these. And most places, when you go to any home store, you will see a combination of these, but at a much lower concentration that you can find. And these are concentrates that you have to mix with water. So what I do is, I use a tank sprayer, and this is a gallon tank sprayer, which I will mix 2.5 to possibly 3 ounces per gallon of the crossbow. And the way I do it is, I use a spoon like this. This also is my gardening measurement spoon, so I don't use it for anything else. And this says 1.5 tablespoons, which is 22 milliliters. So it turns out that I can measure 3 spoons of this for 2 ounces. And then if I do 4.5, I will get around 3 ounces of the liquid in there. So I will mix it with water, and I'm not going to use any detergent, but you are okay to use a detergent so that it spreads on the leaves. And also I choose a day to spread the spray on the lawn when the wind is not there, so that it doesn't deflect your spray much. And I usually do spot treatments where my weeds are, and also make sure that it is not going to rain for the next couple of days. The other thing that's very important is, always use hand and eye protection, so that you don't want to get any of these weed killers in your eyes or body. I use shoes and if possible you should also wear full clothing with the to cover your body parts. But if you are careful, you should be okay, and just take precaution that you don't get in contact with this chemical and touch your eyes. I have put the weed killer and then water in it, and I'm going to pump the sprayer, and I'm going to just spot wet the leaves where it is. So these are all clover, and if you have seen my other video, I have done a treatment on clover, worked fine with the amount of clover I had. But this is the wild violet I'm more trying to get rid of without killing the grass. So, and I'll see how this does. This is the first time I'm doing with Triclopyr as a combination with 2,4-D. This side of the yard has a lot of creeping Charlie, or the strawberry bushes that you get, and that was fine with controlling via 2,4-D, straight 2,4-D, but I'm spraying this and see. But mostly the wild violets are growing a lot in this part of the side yard, and you can see I have to spray it because it's very weedy here all the way. And I will show how it ends up after a week or 2 weeks, and possibly I'll show results after 2 applications. Near the fence I have quite a bit of poison ivy growing right here, you can see, and it's a lot of other weeds, and I will spray these. I don't want to touch the poison ivy. There is the big one here and another one here. Here is the result after 1 week of spraying the 2,4-D with Triclopyr, and you can see that most of the clover has died, and there is signs of dying with the wild violet, which actually looks much better now. So some of the areas I have to spray it again, but in most cases it has given me a better result than just a straight 2,4-D. And you can see some of these, at least I can see that my grass is looking much better here. Some patches of these also I sprayed, and they were kind of a different kind of grass leaves, like the thick ones here. So those worked pretty well. One thing to note is the 2,4-D is very harmful to tomatoes. So the tomatoes are very susceptible to 2,4-Ds, even if you're not spraying on them, or it will drift. And in my case, it just drifted from here, so I was not very careful and also didn't know about the susceptibility to tomato plants. So if you can see, my tomato plants have already curled up and it might survive, and I actually sprayed right there. I shouldn't have come that far, so maybe you can learn from my mistakes. And even I read online that when they spray in the farms, and that can travel with the drift, with the wind, and it can affect your tomato plants almost a mile away. So you should be careful about any vegetable garden or your ornamental plants or flowering trees, plants, flowering plants you should be very careful of not spraying. And you can see how the Triclopyr and the 2,4-D combination is helping with the weed control here. So I think I got really good results with one spray, so I might have to do one more later in the summer. And they say not to spray more than 3 times a year, so I will stick to that. In this area where I had a lot of weeds, I had sprayed quite a bit, and you can see the wild violets are pretty much dying here. The clovers turned out very white, and you can see the leaves. And also these areas were full of these, and they also are dying out. So it is good result overall. And now I can overseed with grass seeds, and you can see that the grass was not affected. So this is a selective weed killer which affects only broadleaf weeds. This also killed dandelions. So if you have a lot of dandelions, you can see those will be done. Actually, I had really good results with dandelions with 2,4-D. So straight 2,4-D will kill dandelions as well. Here are some results from the fence line, and I did spray quite a bit. Maybe I will use the glyphosate because this area I don't need grass, so I can use a weed killer like glyphosate. You can watch my other video on glyphosate and see. If you are not careful, if you don't care about the grass, here is one of those poison ivy here which is dying, and most of it you can see that it is turning white. So within a week it did affect.